Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for December 4th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
So what are you pretending to have?
Well, I'm pretending this week. You know what? Here's the thing. Michigan is the only state in the union that is delayed by these holidays.
Yeah.
So we have to shoot everything a day in advance. We pretend like we didn't. Apparently, I get to UPS, they tell me I'm a day early, and I said, well, I was hoping a few things showed up because they said they're trying to fix this olive branch problem. And I said, well, hold on. There's a couple guys that, one guy got 7 boxes, another guy got 3 boxes, another guy got 4 boxes, only one guy got screwed with 1 box. So we're going to fake our way through this. Yeah, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So I'm going to start off. This is kind of funny here. I was going to sandwich my books with, I was going to tease my one pick and then come at you with one that you never saw coming.
Yeah.
But I've got a better top pick than that.
All right.
So instead, I'm going to lead off then with that pick that was going to be my top pick. I've got Amazing Spider-Man 700.1. I'm back on, baby. I'm back on for a little Amazing Spider-Man because they're giving me Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And apparently Dan Slott is very busy with all the Silver Surfer stuff. So while we were trying to get, talking to him about trying to do a signing maybe sometimes next year, now he's saying he's really busy, which is fine because that way my ego doesn't have to take a blast when he just outright tells me no, he can play nice. So I like Dan. I like Dan Slott a lot. I'm really kind of excited about this Amazing Spider-Man 700.1 because I got Peter back and I want to read Peter stories. A lot of people are saying they like this Doc Ock thing. They like where it's going. Even if we find out at the end of the day that my theory maybe is right, that it's actually Peter who thinks he's Doc Ock, that's still just not what I want.
Right.
And, no, I'm not going to go to the internet and complain a whole lot about it, even though I'm standing in front of a video, at least explaining what my thing is. If you don't like it, don't read it. And that's what it comes down to. To me, this is entertainment. That the story isn't being written the way I want, so what? When it comes back around the way I want it, then you'll get my money again. And then let's not kid ourselves. I mean, I run a comic book store. You're getting my money anyway. I get some of it back.
Right.
But so I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. I believe this is going to kind of tell you what happened in that weird period where he's right. I mean, it's a .1. It's referring directly to the 700 where he and Otto switch bodies. But in some way, we're getting a Peter story. So I'm excited about that and like that a lot. Then I've got Marvel Knights Spider-Man. This is issue 3. This is by Matt Kent. It's been pretty cool. It's very trippy, weird. Spider-Man's gonna have to fight like 99 villains to, 99 problems, and villains are all of them. That's the whole thing. So they were on a plane. He was fighting a bunch of baddies. What was it? Mysterio and Sandman and a bunch of dudes like stuck in a big metal tube. Flying above the skyways. I don't know, I kind of feel like that every time I fly. Next up, I've got Longshot. This is Longshot Saves the Marvel Universe, issue 3. I like Longshot. Anytime you ask me straight up, the nerd question, if you could have a mutant power, what would it be? I already have it. I got luck. If you exclude the fact that I'm the only person in the Metro Detroit area that got 1 box, generally, luck is on my side. This is someone is running around trying to basically kill Longshot. So anyone who gets a streak of luck is getting killed. And now Longshot's kind of in the middle and, going to try and figure out what's going on. I think I am an issue behind. Imagine that, even though that was last week's title. I'm an issue behind. It looked like, I didn't even see that. Last week we still had Ghost Rider on a motorcycle. Apparently Ghost Rider's now like Knight Rider. He's going to be driving a tricked out car or something. I don't know. Weird. But I like this Longshot book. I like Longshot a lot. A fun character that they're reminding you he's not a mutant. He's an alien, and that's just kind of luck falls on his side. Next, we've got Daredevil Dark Knights, issue 7. This has been kind of a fun one. This is the book that, and I believe this is a different writer. Now I don't have it in front of me, but I think we already got to the end of Palmiades, right?
No, I think this.
Oh no, we got one more, and then we go to what was it? Who's the third writer now?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either, but yeah, we are finishing the Misty Knight story here. This is them down in, where were they? Down in Florida, I think. And looks like I did read this, but it's been so darn long. It's got Misty Knight. It's got Daredevil doing some nonsense, kind of fun stuff. I like this book. It's tough to do these when we don't have the exact book in front of us, because you're going back and looking like, oh yeah, I read that. Wait, what was that? Oh, I don't know. Next up, we're moving over to some DC stuff. We got Trillium by Vertigo. This is a Jeff Lemire story. At the end of issue 4, it says the end. And I was like, what the hell? I thought this thing was supposed to go like 8 issues. Well, it is. This is issue 5. This is just I guess they split it into 2 arcs, maybe, seeing where the second half goes, because it does end in a very weird fashion. And I don't necessarily want to spoil anything for you, but you've got our characters from one time, several thousand years in the future, and then a character back from probably about the 40s, 50s. But they found each other due to this temple. Well, the temple gets blasted, something weird happens, and now we're moving on to our next arc because things go all white. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think this has been a great book. I think Jeff Lemire's style is fantastic. I love his art as much as I love his writing, to be honest. And it's always kind of a bummer when you have these great artists who are also great writers, and then suddenly they end up doing more writing than drawing. You're like, oh, man, I want to see you do both. I understand it's a heavy load.
It is a lot more work.
But good stuff. Then I've got Shadow Man, issue 13. I believe this is the first issue of Peter Milligan taking over this book. Because I believe he's jumped over here, and we were kind of talking about how we're looking forward to that because, you know, he's done some great stuff on Hellblazer. And I think he's going to have some fun with this book. Am I right there? All new creative team, all new Shadow Man. So they're shaking things up with this issue. And like I said, I believe that is Peter Milligan that is the new writer on this book. The issue 12, you know, was just a bunch of 3 little stories. I think they're just kind of trying to find their way with this book, and now that they got a nice talent like Peter Milligan on there, I think he'll be able to craft a strong story that they'll be able to go into the future with. Then I've got Reality Check number 4. This has been a cool book. It's not anything you haven't seen before, but they're doing it in a different sort of way. You know, our main character is writing this comic where his character jumps off the screen, or jumps off the page rather, and now, you know, he's like, well, you're always putting me in these weird positions. I want to find a girl. Find me a girl. Well, it just so happens this superhero has now sort of targeted his ex-girlfriend, the writer's ex-girlfriend, and she now thinks the writer's a jerk when he's just like, this is not even right. I wrote that guy. You like that guy. This doesn't make any sense. And then there's a villain in the way, and has followed him over off the page, and the villain has attacked the girlfriend, and it's cool, man. I think this is a neat book. This is, who's writing this? Glenn Brunswick? What else has he done? I don't know, but this is a neat idea. Great execution. You know, I like those image books. So that's a fun one. That takes me through the bulk of my stack. What are you looking at?
I'm starting off with Green Lantern number 26. You know, we finished up our Lights Out.
Yep.
And now we're kind of back into some just kind of classic Green Lantern space cop stuff.
Okay.
I think in last issue, there was a character who was in the science cells when Oa was kind of under attack and the science cells were sort of evacuated, and she wound up getting a pink violet lantern ring, the love ring, Star Sapphire. So they're going after her, and it's kind of like they're out in the frontier. It's Hal and Kilowog basically doing space cop stuff. I mean,
I like Kilowog.
This is kind of, you know, when Green Lantern is not part of big ongoing epics. You know, this is the kind of stuff that they do, the stuff that they used to do long before they did big epics, and it's nice to see them getting back to that. Cool. I hope that we get a nice breather and we get 4 books or 5 books or however many Lantern books there are these days that are all doing their own thing and not kind of just crossing over into these big stories. Just some good old-fashioned superhero space cop comics. Speaking of good old-fashioned superheroes, we got Triple Helix. This is John Byrne's. It's actually not as X-Men as you would think. You know, it's got characters that are similar to the X-Men, but it's kind of like Trio was sort of his Fantastic Four. This is his X-Men. There's similarities visually and conceptually, but he's really kind of building his own little superhero world here, which is kind of nice. They're connecting to Danger Unlimited, which is stuff that he did way back when he was doing Next Men and Babe and things like that. So, you know, it's interesting. When John Byrne started the Next Men, he said one of the reasons why is he knew that he could never tell an Alien First Contact story in the Marvel Universe because it had already been told. So in creating a universe of his own, he can tell all these stories that he couldn't tell in Marvel and DC because other people got there 20 years earlier. Okay. So I think that's kind of what he's doing here, and it's good. Cool. You know, if you are a fan of comic books of the 80s, This is kind of in that wheelhouse, and I'm a big fan of that. I've always been,
Sure.
a John Byrne schmuck, so I'll buy anything he does. But this is actually kind of back to the fun stuff that made me a John Byrne fan in the first place. Next up, Think Tank number 11. I'll be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea what. It's been months since this book came out.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I actually was looking at. They have coming soon in September things. So apparently the last book came out in August.
Wow.
So I have no idea what's going on. But this is the guy who's part of a military think tank. They're using his inventions to kill people. And I guess what I recall is there's some sort of rogue element in the military that was doing it. And of course, he's got to create these things that can kill lots of people and then figure out ways to keep people from using them. So it's kind of a neat idea. It's been a lot of fun, but yeah, when you've got this much time in between, I have absolutely no idea where it left off. Next up, we've got Cataclysm, the Ultimate's Last Stand. This is Galactus in the Ultimate Universe. The first issue, basically Galactus shows up, they throw everything they've got at him, and it doesn't do a thing. And it basically ends with Galactus kind of shrugging off Thor and the Ultimates and all of this stuff. It's like, okay, now time to eat the planet.
Heck yeah!
So hopefully he's gonna eat the planet. I don't know. I've only seen Galactus eat a planet once, and yeah, we don't know this. Everyone's assuming that this is the end of the Ultimate Universe. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. We don't know. But
everyone else seems to think that's a done deal. But
yeah.
we have not heard any confirmation
Marvel
from
has not
Marvel
said
in that
anything.
way.
They haven't made it to the solicits yet, where it would be after this, so we don't
Okay.
know. But that's the assumption. It's a fun assumption. I kind of hope it's true. Not anything with the Ultimate line, but it's been 10, 13 years now, so
Yeah.
I think it's all right.
And
But,
letting Galactus eat the planet is a nice way to go.
And if we get to keep Spider-Man out of the deal, the Miles
It's
Morales
fine.
Spider-Man, that's cool. But yeah, so yeah, at the end of last issue, Galactus was like, "Okay, you guys done now? All right, let me get back to my dinner." And now he's going to get back to his dinner. Next up, Action Comics number 26. So the last issue of this was Greg Pak's first issue.
Oh, okay. It was a zero-year
It was a zero-year tie-in. The other Superman books finished up their return to Krypton. So I have absolutely no idea what they're doing here. This is the beginning of something new. The beginning of I'm assuming Greg Pak writing it taking place in the modern time, because the last issue took place in the past. That first issue was pretty good, and Greg Pak's he's a pretty solid writer. So, and I really like Aaron Cooter, who's the new artist. So yeah, this is kind of like the new direction for Action Comics. All these Superman books, with the exception of Grant Morrison, had a tough time finding their footing.
Yes.
So let's hope that 2 years in, they have finally found some footing. Next up, Superior Spider-Man, not Chris's favorite book. I was thinking about this. This was actually kind of interesting. You're right. This is not Peter Parker Spider-Man. If you're a fan of that, this is not for you. And I'll admit, it's even kind of wearing a little thin, and the teases that it's going to be ending soon. It's like, okay, we get it. We're like 15, 16 issues in at this point. I know the storyline ties
more than that. I think it's 23 that's tomorrow, right? Or 22?
Oh wow, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because we just had like a 20 or something. That's an older one.
So I know I haven't read the last issue yet because it just came out like 2 weeks ago. So between holidays and double shipping, I'm going to get way behind on Marvel Comics. Venom was in the last issue. I haven't read it. So Venom, I believe, is in this one also. I think on the cover you could see that. Whether or not they're getting any closer to the end game, I don't know. I kind of hope they are, because even though this has been cool and I have been enjoying it, it's also been one very long story, and it's been one very long story. So if this is not going to be the new status quo, which it's not going to be because Spider-Man's got a movie coming out and a trailer, I think, in a couple of days. One of the things I was thinking about this, and this was interesting, is this really could have worked well as a Superman story, putting Lex in Superman's body. And then, Lex has always thought that he could have been a great man if Superman wasn't around. And I was like, yeah, actually, you could kind of do this with most, heroes and their nemesis. And it's almost too bad that Dan Slott didn't write it as Superman, because Superman, I think that would have been even more fun to see Luthor in Superman's body than Doc Ock and Spider-Man's. But sooner or later, we'll get back to Peter, and everything will go back to normal.
One of my favorite superhero bits of all time is in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, where Lex switches bodies with the Flash.
Oh, that was great.
Oh man, now I'm going to find out who the Flash is. I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, the hero villain body switch. Hell, first time I remember it is like Doctor Doom and Reed Richards.
Oh, sure.
Like the first year of the Fantastic Four. It's a classic thing, but usually it only lasts 2 or 3 issues.
Right.
But in any event, that's modern storytelling. But yeah, I'm still getting Superior Spider-Man. Still a lot of fun. We'll see what happens after that. Next up, Amazing X-Men #2. This book was a blast.
I liked it. It was fun.
I'm continually blown away by how much I like how Jason Aaron writes the X-Men. This is the return of Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was in heaven.
Yep.
And then
and that's what they did. He knew something wasn't right.
He knew something's up. He keeps looking out. His daddy shows up with a bunch of evil Bamps. The Bamps show up at the mansion and build some sort of a dimensional gateway. And they pop, the X-Men pop through the dimensional gateway into heaven, where they see a big pirate ship. And his dad's dressed as a pirate because Nightcrawler is kind of a swashbuckler and he likes pirate stuff. So this book is a blast. Jason Aaron doing absolutely fantastic X-Men stuff.
And Ed McGuinness art.
And I can't pass it up.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So that's my stack.
All right. And seeing what your replacement is, I now know what your top book is there. I couldn't think of anything for replacement. I was like, I'd want that one too, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. So my top pick here is this. We're really excited about this. We've got Dan Doherty coming into the shop tomorrow, December 4th, to present the issue 3 of Touching Evil.
World premiere.
He's picking them up in the morning. So he's not even going to package anything up and ship anything. Like, he's picking them up at the printer on the way here down in Illinois, and then he's going to drive up here. And when you walk through the door and pick up Touching Evil #3 from Dan Doherty tomorrow, that'll be the first time anyone's been able to get it. This will be debuting here. I think this is a great book. I really enjoy it. If you've not been reading Touching Evil, you should be. I mean, Dan managed to win. For a book that really only had like 300 or 400 print run, he won Best Self-Published Book of the Year from the Sheldorf Awards. Now, it's a great thing. It's fan voting. I mean, that goes to show you that the people that are supporting Dan really support Dan and love what he's doing.
Right.
And it's a good book. It's a fantastic book. He also does Beardo. I think he's going to have some Beardo, volumes with him. But this is the story of Ada, who is a defense attorney who she's defending mobsters, and in that first issue, she has to go to the prison, to visit her, her bosses, the lead partner's first client, and things kind of get shaken up, and things get a little weird, and now Ada is sort of the holder of an ancient curse. It's a curse. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. But there are people chasing her because they don't understand what's going on. They think she's supposed to be dead. It's really bizarre. This is some of the best stuff I've ever seen Dan do. The artwork is incredible. I feel like the pictures move on the page. It's very dynamic, very, very good stuff. And this story is top notch. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If he can get this in the right person's hands, I don't understand how this isn't already being published by like an Image or something like that. I think it really is that good.
Wow, cool.
So, what do you got there?
Well, my top pick this week is Inhumanity by Matt Fraction and an artist I don't know because I don't actually have it in front of me. I apologize for that. And in the Infinity series, Attilan was destroyed.
Okay.
And the existing Inhumans kind of scattered to the winds, and we found out that there were lost tribes of Inhumans that have scattered around the globe. Many of them, many of the Inhumans of the past, kind of like going out into the world and starting lives among the humans, and that there are many humans who are actually descended from Inhumans, but they all have that Inhuman gene. So when Black Bolt triggered the Terrigen bomb, it's going to trigger all their powers. So now all these descendants of the Inhumans that are around the Earth are going to start popping up with powers, and that's what this story is essentially about, at least from what I've
See, I thought this essentially was about when Fox acquired X-Men, and then Marvel can't make movies with mutants.
Yes.
So now they're going to have everyone be Inhuman.
Yes.
Good luck with that license, Fox.
Yeah.
They're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you good.
Fox has got enough mutants to play with for a very, very long time.
Absolutely. But man, it's a big middle finger at him, isn't it?
And it's kind of crazy because we were whittled down with the mutants, and now all of a sudden there's new mutants again, and a lot of people
That's part of why they did it too. They didn't want to create any new characters that they couldn't use in movies.
But they have been creating a lot. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff in the X-Men books.
Yes.
And now this, so it's like we got mutants and Inhumans. Are there going to be any normal human beings left in the Marvel Universe by the time this is done?
Probably not.
I recall it wasn't Earth X. That was they detonated a Terrigen bomb, but it actually gave all the humans powers. And,
Okay.
So I guess that's not how it works. There's a little FU to Alex Ross. But yeah, I was really iffy about this because I didn't know if I wanted to go from, Infinity ending like a week later into another kind of big crossover story. But I'm curious about this premise. I mean, I'm hoping that this is not a big kind of epic thing, that it's just kind of a large story that weaves through a lot of books. There's going to be the main Inhumanity, and then lots of other things tying in a similar matter. Matt Fraction's hit or miss. Lately, he's been more hit than miss, so we'll give him a shot. We'll see how this is. It seems like this concept-wise is right up his alley. This is what he's leaving the FF for.
I just hope it's more in line with creating a good story than it is with trying to create powered people that you can use in movies that are not your mutants.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what the book that's coming out that was solicited for January, just in that November catalog, called Inhuman. Mm-hmm. It's not about the Inhumans. It's about the people on Earth. So they're creating a bunch of new characters and doing that, and I just hope it's a good story.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of... And Matt Fraction... His stuff tends to be more story-driven and more kind of high-concept-driven than market-driven. When he does market-driven stuff, that's usually not as strong. So yeah, I'm hoping that we get good Matt Fraction on this. I don't know who the artist is, but I'm sure it's somebody good because they're going to pair. Yeah. They're going to pair Big Gun or one of the I don't know if is it Olivier Coipel. His name pops to my head. Maybe Ben Oliver, one of those guys. So yeah, I'm sure they've got a good artist on the book. We'll see. I mean, like I said, I was hesitant, but I'm going to take my chance. I'm going to go for it. Matt Fraction's delivered before, and I'm really curious about this kind of new wrinkle in the Marvel Universe. Whether or not it lasts, who knows? If it sells, it lasts. If it doesn't, it'll only last until like Fraction and all these, till this current crop of writers and the editor-in-chief turns over, and they'll do something else. But
or until Fox gives them the X-Men back.
Yeah, I think it's much more likely that Matt Fraction will leave Marvel than the X-Men will be given up by Fox.
Well, that's what I mean. They're going to keep doing these characters, I imagine. I mean, this is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
How do you have superpowered characters and you can start using unless you say they're an Inhuman?
Well, I like how Stan Lee came up with the X-Men in the first place because he was tired of trying to come up with origins, and this time it's like, they're born that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the easy way because after a while you're going to run out of radioactive accidents in the Marvel Universe.
You'd hope.
And super soldier serums. So yeah, they're just born that way. That's the superheroes. But anyway, yeah, Inhumanity, my top pick. We'll see how it goes.
Right on. So we got a great stack of stuff coming out this week. Be sure to be in here for our signing with Dan Doherty. And also, big news just solidified. We had sort of been teasing, and we teased that, a little bit last week. Ryan Brown, he's probably bringing some special guests. Ryan Brown is going to be in Comics and More on December 23rd. That's the day before Christmas Eve, so that's the Monday of Christmas week. And he's bringing with him Mike Costa, who is doing the G.I. Joe Cobra stuff. Not Mark Costa, Mike Costa. He is...
That's my fault.
It's been told. They might not have even noticed. He did Smoke and Mirrors with Ryan Brown. And then another big one, and we're so excited to have those guys in here. And then they tell us they're also bringing Charles Soule.
Yeah.
Who, Letter 44, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Red Lanterns,
Thunderbolt, Swamp Thing. Kind of a big gun.
He's writing like everything.
It seems that way. I mean, he's writing so much over there. And he wrote that 27 for Image that I like so much.
That's right.
So we've got 3 heavy-hitting talents coming in, and I'm really, really excited about that. So mark that on your calendars. December 23rd, coming out. Get your last-minute stocking stuffers. Check that stuff out. And be here on the 4th for Dan Doherty.
Yep.
So that's your Week in Geek.